Hi everybody, welcome to the Tyler Law Courtside Chat. I am Brad Greenman, and this is my friend and my colleague, Myla Sarmiento. I'm going to be asking her a few questions today about trademark law, which is good because I don't know anything about it. So I'm going to learn. For those of us who don't know, what is a trademark?
A trademark right is basically going to be in the realm of intellectual property. So think of real property, but now we're taking it with words, with ideas, with artwork. Basically, trademark rights are for branding. And so what the United States Patent and Trademark Office wants to do is they want to protect a business's marketing brand. And so you would get a trademark from the USPTO's office, and that essentially would protect you from other brands that have a very similar name to yours.
Why are we talking about trademarks today? Like, in your mind, why is it important for us to be discussing this?
What I've noticed in my practice is that I'll encounter a lot of startup businesses. While they're creating their business plans, sometimes they neglect to trademark their brand name, their logos, their artwork. In addition to protecting your name, you also don't want to get into a situation where you've had so much money spent on your marketing, on your creative elements, your design, and you've been in business for about 4 years, and you find out later that someone has a very similar name to yours, and now you're getting a cease and desist letter. I was working with a clothing store. They did not do a trademark, and so they already started selling product out there. And once they realized that a trademark would be helpful because they are selling outside of the state, we ran into some issues because the name that they wanted to use was similar to other names that have already been trademarked in that specific industry. And so in that situation, especially because you're a startup business and you don't have as much capital, you have to make some tough decisions. So you have to not only stop production, but then you might have to go and do research and development in terms of having to recreate the brand, recreate the logo, the artwork, even think of the name. And all that time and money that you spent, you could have saved all of that had you did the pre-planning stages beforehand.
For those of you out there who, like me, don't know much about it, I wouldn't know the first step to take if I wanted to obtain a trademark. So what do I write a letter to the Secretary of State? Or like, what do you do to get a trademark?
You can do trademarks yourself if you want to, although I would recommend finding an attorney to be able to assist you with that. A lot of people think that it's a really easy process, and it is easy for the most part. However, my recommendation, if you're going to do it on your own, is to do your due diligence first. So I would recommend going to what's called the TESS system, which is the trademark search system, and that can be found on the USPTO's website. That's the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Okay.
And then afterwards, you can kind of see what businesses are out there with the same name or the same logo or the same artwork. But after that, you would fill out an application with the USPTO's office, and then you would wait some time, and an examining attorney would then be assigned to your application. And afterwards, the examining attorney is going to determine if the trademark is registratable. And then afterwards, it will then be published with the Gazette. And once it's published in the Gazette, then everyone that has trademarked their brand name could see if it's similar to yours. And if it isn't, then you'll get a certificate at the end.
Now, I've seen trademarks in two different contexts. I feel like I very often see the R that's got the circle around it, and then sometimes you just see the letters T and M that follow. I assume that means trademark, and you have the R. What's the difference between those two?
The TM is going to apply to your common law trademark right. So that's basically if you have been doing business and you associated your good or your service to this brand, this artwork, or this logo, and you are able to use that in your geographical location. However, if you want more protection, you would want to get the R logo, which is what happens when you get your trademark registered with the USPTO.
Okay, so yeah, the R is because you've done it with the federal body, registered your trademark there as opposed to relying on the common law.
Correct,
Common
yeah.
law trademark, okay.
Having an experienced trademark attorney is going to help you through any of the issues that might occur. I would say look at how much that attorney has trademarked with the USPTO's office. They're going to know the issues, they're going to know the language, because it's a lot different than civil litigation.
Let's compare a situation where somebody does it by themselves versus when they retain an attorney to help them through the process. Would you be involved in conversation? Let's say somebody retains you, you put the application in, and it's before the examining attorney. Would you then, if you were representing somebody who came in to get a trademark, be the one having the conversations with the attorney from the U.S. Patent and Trade Office?
Yeah, so
Okay.
What happens is that you'll sometimes get what's called a non-office action, and that's from the examining attorney. They would list out what is wrong with your trademark application. You know, if they find out that it's very similar to others, if it looks like you had categorized it differently,
Okay.
an attorney would be useful in that situation because they can respond, they know how to respond, and they know how to navigate any issues that arise.
Nice.
So.
That's great. And that's why Myla is awesome.
Thank you, Brad.
No, thank you. That's for somebody, even as an attorney, I don't practice trademarks. And so this was all very informative to me. I know everyone out there appreciates the education information as well. So thank you.
Thank you.